It's the last day of school, and Winnipeg's inner city is celebrating. These are not images, however, that Winnipeggers often see in the mainstream media. While the stories of gang activity and crime are true, the media story is not the whole story. Winnipeg's inner city neighborhood is located north of the tracks in an isolated area north of downtown. Its main street, Selkirk Avenue, used to be a vibrant destination in Winnipeg's history. Over the decades, however, the area lost its original vitality. Housing values plummeted as residents moved away into the suburbs. Today, most area residents are Aboriginal peoples living in poverty. These facts, however, hide the resiliency that exists here. And with the help of a unique coalition of 9 community-based organizations, people here are beginning to see new possibilities. In the inner city of Winnipeg, rare are those who don't know about CLOUT. The directors of these 9 CLOUT member organizations work together much like a large extended family. Unlike mainstream social agencies, their goal is to build their neighborhoods back up by creating capacity-building programs throughout the community. While their work is mostly behind the scenes, they often organize community activities like this one, family events that bring all the neighbors together for a day of fun and sharing. Working in such close collaboration means that CLOUT members can also hear everything that's happening in the community. It also allows them to be more responsive to the needs of people and to do more with less. Working together also reduces the sense of isolation often felt by directors of social agencies. It's the only way they can work.
And one of the things that we had to do in order to come together and to work together was to remove our agendas, to remove our hats so that we could become one in our thinking.
We've done it the non-traditional way, like we've done it mainstream society, and it doesn't work. We've been told by the community it doesn't work.
We listen to the people. We don't say, oh, this is what you need. We say, what do you need? Because most of the time they may think they don't know, but once you start talking to them, they all know. And most of the time they know what they need to resolve it too, or to fix it, or to make it better.
You're not the expert, they are the expert. And so I think that's one of my biggest learnings is that you gotta listen to families, they know what they need, they know what they want. You gotta let them make the decisions and you're just there to help and you're just there to support and you're just there to walk with people.
We're in a circle and everyone brings their strength and everyone brings a different story and everyone brings a different vision, but put together that makes the strength.
And we'll get to a place where we can all agree with, we can all support and agree that this is the idea that needs to go forward. Then we'll look around at each other and go, okay, who can do this? Who's got the time? Who's got the capacity? And who's got the energy and the commitment to take this on?
It's more like part of the community coming together and making a decision together.
And we all write support letters. We make it very well known that all of us as organizations support this so that people know we have talked to each other, we have collaborated, and we are all supporting each other to move forward in this one direction.
There are so many challenges though. I think there's historical stories of grief and challenge. There's the residential schools, there's racism, there's poverty, which I consider a systemic evil. So that table coming together must come together to address those issues together.
Because they are informed by their Aboriginal traditional values, CLOUT members don't see their work as fixing people. They see their role instead as being present and listening, to uncover people's strengths, and to provide opportunities to build on local abilities.
You know, I think about how the public must see the inner city and how they must see Aboriginal people and how they get a bad rap, you know. They don't see the joy and all the kids that are, happy and cared for and all the wonderful people in the inner city that are working and trying to make a life. They want the same things that everybody wants.
All the parents that live in this area want the best thing for their kids. They want them to be successful. They want them to be happy. They want them to accomplish things, And so I am just one of those little tools, in that box to help.
The people that we serve are also participating at all levels of decision making within our organization, and they also have access to jobs within our own organization, and I think that's what makes us successful.
The model of CLOUT works, and I think it's effective because you have a group of very strong people who are doing really important work, but we have the strength of the community behind us, and I think that's our success. It's not about us, it's about what we bring to the table, and that's the voices of the people that we work with.
It's a model that's respect. Bottom line, it's respect. Believe that people have something to offer. If you're trying to help someone, then you need to know from that person what it is they need.
It's about looking at people and looking at neighborhoods and looking for the good and building on that. You don't build communities by finding out what's wrong with them. You find where the strength and leadership is.
I see a lot of young people who are, who could become very good leaders in the community. And they seem to be quite rooted here. And so that's hope.
But if we could share our story and if we could share our success and describe how that has worked for us, if that sparks an inspiration or sparks a vision for someone else out there, then maybe that's what is needed for that way of working together to be expanded out there.
Services and programs offered by CLOUT organizations are highly regarded and well used in the inner city. And contrary to the mainstream system, success is always measured in human terms.
For us, it's the little things, and it's talking to our kids, and hearing from them the impact of what the programs had for them.
People ask me, are you successful? Well, it depends what success means to you. But if it means that we kept a child from doing something crazy in the streets for one night, yeah, I'd say that was success, and that's being family to each other.
To me, that's the greatest value, is to have a kid come back and say, this project was able to do this for me, and I'm in a better place because of this. So to me, that's impact, right? It's not how many participants you had or how many activities you ran. It's that stuff that you can't always count.
You need to meet people where they are, and you need to be relevant, and you need to engage people, and you need to have those relationships. And oftentimes, systems are not about relationships. They're about being objective and about all of those kinds of things. And that's not how Aboriginal people operate.
At CLOUT meetings, discussions often center on funding constraints and the bureaucratic need to assess outcomes in quantifiable terms. The government expects them to run programs that are about looking at deficits in the community when their work is instead about building the community up from existing strengths.
Our challenge is to work within that funding model, but to somehow use those funds to also provide opportunities, because people don't want to come in just as a problem. Like, nobody wants to be seen like that. People have something to give as well. And so if we can provide those opportunities where people can come and participate based on their strengths, then often a lot of that other stuff is getting dealt with.
I think there's been so much work done in the community. We just live it every day. So I don't think we're sitting down going, oh, that was an outcome, or that was, we don't see the world that way.
Numbers don't mean you're relevant. They don't mean that you're effective. They don't mean that you're having an impact. It just means numbers.
We don't hide things. We're very straightforward. I know when the funders come my way, I certainly let them know things,
Operating on year-to-year short-term grants also creates difficulties for CLOUT members. Their concern is for the residents who come to rely on government programs that can and have disappeared overnight.
What needs to change? I think we need to, it would be wonderful if we could document ongoing the kinds of things we do and the way we do them, because I think a lot of it is It's just so like this that we can't always pull out this and this and, the outcome.
We need a long-term commitment from government to say, yes, we know you guys can do it. We know what you're doing is working. Respecting that, to me, equates long-term funding, core stability, to let us do what we do best instead of constantly spending time trying to run down funding here and run down funding there and, again, try and fit into their boxes.
I want to be able to go to a pot of money and say, this is how much I need to do this. And let me do my work. Let the community do its work. And stop tying us down.
The limitations imposed by funding policies not only affect their flexibility and effectiveness, but CLOUT members also believe that political leaders don't put enough energy into listening to them or to the people in their neighborhoods. A growing need is being felt to speak up about their work and the importance of social justice. They especially want to draw attention to the difference between equality and fairness in the inner city.
Half a glass of water might be enough for one person, a full glass is needed for another. So that might not be seen as equal, but it's right because that's what they need, right? So it's a fairness. Just everyone should be allowed the same thing.
Why do kids in our day and age, in our community, live in the kind of despair and poverty that they do in our own backyards? And yet we turn a blind eye to it and blame them for their state. And I don't understand that.
Go through what they've gone through in their lives and see how many tools you have to work with and see how your life is going to go. Like really see that, and then maybe you'll think differently. Maybe if you start giving tools.
Government is so focused on the immediate now, and everything is going to the immediate now. So there's not a whole lot of forward thinking and visionary thinking.
We have a joint responsibility to address injustice issues when we see it. We also have the responsibility to address the racism in the society and to confront that and to become very good allies, with that.
Suspend judgment. Don't think you're coming in to be the savior. Just really come in, be part of the community, listen, grow, learn.
They need to use these ears that the Creator gave them in listening to people. I think that would be the most effective thing. Less talk, more listening.
Hear what they have to say, bring the resources, and make it happen for them. It's not working the way it exists now for most people, for a lot of people.
CLOUT members dream of transforming the everyday experiences of the people they serve in the inner city.
Thanks for coming.
They also dream of being able to better influence social policy. The question, however, is whether decision makers can see the effectiveness of CLOUT's common sense model of community building and respond in kind.
We need to really look at a holistic and comprehensive approach, and an approach that really is based on sense of family and sense of community and sense of everyone having a role and responsibility to play in making it a safe and better community.
Our minds are so powerful, and if you put those divides up, of course they're going to be there for you. And so we've got to tear down all those barriers and really work hard together.
I think it's happening slowly, but I would like to see a time where policy is influenced a lot by community organizations, by community, that we're consulted, that what we have to say isn't just written away in a report and stuck on a shelf, that it's actually acted on.
But I'll tell you, if it doesn't happen as fast as I would like, I think we're still in it for the long haul. That's what's so amazing about groups that work together. It's, we have some outcomes we have to ensure happen, but even if they don't happen, we're still there.
CLOUT has a lot of thoughts about what can happen and what can be done different and what works for us, and we're willing to talk to anybody that will listen, and we're willing to be a part of defining the issue and we're willing to be part of figuring out the solution. We want to have a responsibility in that solution as well. We're not just here trying to criticize everything.
And I think if you can expand that beyond the North End, that you will see effective change. I think once mainstream society kind of jumps on board and is part of this model and really sort of says, yeah, in my backyard, and I'm going to be responsible for what's in my backyard, then we'll see change. And it's the way to go. Makes sense.